that you will be biased in favor of the current president by virtue of the fact that you have an association with the former governor of Turkana. I want you to talk to us about this so that you disabuse us of that matter. But secondly, you've indicated that you're based in Johannesburg, which I think I understand in terms of being an employee of NEPAD. But you need to now persuade us in terms of Section 6. As a chairperson, you must be a person who's qualified to be a judge of the Supreme Court, which means that you must be qualified under Article 166(3) of the Constitution, having at least 15 years experience as a Superior Court judge or 15 years experience as a distinguished academic or judicial officer or legal practitioner. I need you to indicate to us where we would base your 15 years of experience. Are you a legal practitioner? Are you an academician? Or where do we base that on? Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Honorable Karemba Muchangi Runyenjes.
Thank you, Chair. And I think mine is very similar to what the Honorable Senior Counsel Otiende has stated. My question is on the petition, or rather the memorandum that has been brought to us by one Gikenyi, Dr. Gikenyi, who clearly wants to portray the nominee as a person very close to the former Turkana governor, Josephat Nanok, and who also works very closely to the president. I would want to ask Honorable Chair whether the nominee will have the courage to lead IEBC with the impartiality that is needed, and whether he is patriotic enough to understand that the country expects a free and fair election.
Very much, Honorable Makali, Member of Parliament for Kandoi.
Thank you. We are on the throes of another election in 2027. You, I think, know what happened to your predecessors, Kibutu, Chesoni, Chebukati. What are the experiences which you have learned from those past elections, which put you in a good state to lead this particular commission so that we can have a free and fair election, taking into account the fact, one, that Kenya's elections are said to be the most expensive. Two, we are very divisive, specifically on tribal grounds, taking into account the two, you saw the split TV screen in August 2022. And three, the alleged bias, which it's alleged that you have very, very close relations with Governor Nanok, which will actually interfere with your independence and your team building skills. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Dahoud Mohammed, Member of Parliament for Wajir East.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is about harmony within the commission. My colleague has just referred to a split screen. I think that is a famous Chebukati 3 and the Cherera 4. My question is, what, as if we confirm, are we confirming, or if we vet you and approve you to be the chair of the commission, how will you ensure that this commission, this new commission that we are constituting now, will be speaking in one voice come election time 2027? Second, our elections are one of the most expensive, I think, either in Africa or even globally. So a man who has such a rich CV and who has told us that you've worked with, you have experience in the electoral processes and elections. How are you going to help this country, given our economic issues that we have now, to reduce the cost of elections to something manageable? And finally, Chair, I just want to ask one question. I think the senior counsel has alluded to it about suitability. It says that for one to be the chair of IEBC, you need at least 15 years. You need to have the qualification of a judge of the Supreme Court. I'm assuming that you will fall under 166. You'll tell me if that is different. 166, Article 166 3B, which says at least 15 years experience as a distinguished academic, judicial officer or legal practitioner. You have given us your 22 years of experience, but I want to see that distinguished part. Distinguished legal scholar or distinguished academician. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Farah Mohammed Malim already asked his question. He's from Dadaab. Next is Honorable Mushira. Michael Mushira is from Ojorok.
Thank you, Chairman. I have only one question. From the statistics, out of the total registered voters we had in 2022, approximately 8 million did not turn out to vote out of the registered voters we had. And then number two, out of the eligible, the people who are of legal voting age as at 2022, approximately 5.7 did not register as voters. I would want to know if you are approved by the House, what measures you would take to ensure that, number one, out of the numbers that is supposed to register, we achieve at least 98%. And then number two, out of the number that is eligible to vote, I know here maybe you may not have much control, we achieve at least 98% in terms of voter turnout. Thank you, Chair.
Very good. Honorable Zulekha, who is nominated.
Thank you, Chair. Before my question, I was just curious to know about the financial net worth of the nominee. Okay. Mr. Ethical, considering the recent past history of the IEBC, I wanted to know how you're going to regain the public trust. What specific reforms are you going to initiate once you are confirmed as the chairman of the institution? And what are some of the innovations in terms of technology, electoral credibility, transparency, are you going to champion as the chairman of the institution? Thank you.
Right, Honorable Mogaka, Honorable Mogaka is from his constituency is
It is West Mugirango
constituency in Nyamira. I was about to say Nyamira West, then I've remembered it's West Mugirango in Nyamira County. All right. Have you introduced yourself, sir? You have.
Yes, I
Thank
did.
you.
Yeah.
You may now
Thank you, Chair.
pose your question.
Thank you, Chair. I have three small questions for the related for the nominee. And nominee, congratulations for this far you have come. But you told us about a lot of education you have acquired. Just tell Kenyans who financed this education and what interest did they have in you as a way of allaying fears that you are being trained to come and do this very thing that Kenyans are worried about. The second one is you described yourself as very rich in human rights training. Now, you are aware that electoral units in this country have been without representatives this far. Do you consider that a constitutional and human right violation for those electoral units? And if so, being an expert in human rights violation, what have you done so far to appease these unrepresented electoral units as Kenya does its business as usual? Number two, if you assume this office as chair, what would you bring in by way of reparation for these electoral units that have not been represented as Kenya has been transacting its affairs normally? And then the last question is, you are aware that there is already election campaign going on even before IEBC is constituted. Do you think this is healthy for the country? And if you assumed the office of chair, what will you bring on board that would bring tranquility in the country for economic prosperity, so that we don't go from election results and immediately we kick off to election campaigns? And for record, Chair, Nyamira County has 2 wards which have no MCAs, Nyamaya Ward and Nyansiongo Ward. Because as you are aware, I can't transact in this committee without mentioning Nyamira County.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mogaka. I think that is extremely patriotic. But you've rightly said there are 2 wards which do not have MCS, and that is the first and foremost assignment for the chairperson, nominated chairperson, if this committee finds favor to approve his nomination. The vice chairman has joined us as we were proceeding. He'll introduce himself and pose his question.
Thank you very much, Chairman, and my apologies to you, my colleague members, and everyone. I was held up in other national duties. That's why I walked in slightly after the session had started. My name is Mwengi Mutusa. I'm the Member of Parliament for Kibwezi West, and I also serve as Vice Chair of this committee. Nominee for Chairperson of IEBC, a very important position in the Republic of Kenya. I have 2 questions for you. Number one of what we have been told previously, that one of the reasons why our elections are very expensive, among the most expensive in the world, is because of trust deficit. The political operators, us in the political class, and even citizens do not trust each other. And so, because it is also alleged that you may be of of a particular political inclination. Assuming that this committee approves you and finally you become the IEBC chair, what are you going to do to bridge that trust deficit so that we may begin to see Kenyans trusting the electoral process? You are aware, for example, in a country like the United States, the ballots will be sent online. They do not have to have 100 security features. People will vote. They will post them online. They will also post them through the post office, and they will be counted, and nobody will say there's a problem. But in our case, we can't even trust to print our ballot papers in our printing presses here. We have to take them to faraway countries. We have to send people to go and supervise printing, bring them here. One ballot paper has to have over 10 security features. What is it that you are going to do, given the background that has been alleged about you, to bridge that trust deficit? And number two, a practical question. Every other election, there has been contestations about rigging of elections, especially presidential elections. And majorly, that has been attributed to technology. People will say, well, we voted this way, but what was relayed to the National Tallying Center is different from what was on the ground. I have my views about it, but I would want you to tell Kenyans, do you believe that elections in Kenya are rigged? If you believe that they are rigged, what are you going to do to ensure that they are not rigged? If they are not rigged, why do you think they are not rigged? Finally, principally, you are trained as a lawyer, principally. I would want to know why it was important for you to study project management and peace and conflict, because as a lawyer, and many lawyers are very proud of their profession, many of them stick to legal issues. So one would be curious to just understand why you found it necessary to veer and study other professions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair. Thank you, honorable members. I counted the questions in spite of them having been told to ask for one. They did about 2, others did about 3, maximum at 20, all of them. We have 20 minutes within which to answer the 20 questions. So please be concise, precise. You do not have to repeat yourself, and where you can condense answers in respect of 3 questions into 1, please do so. 20 minutes to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable members of this committee. Allow me to really sincerely thank you for those very important questions, questions that are vexing to all of us and to Kenyans, and questions that beg answers from me as the chair nominee, but also to some extent answers from all of us as Kenyan citizens. In regard to the first set of questions from the Honorable Chair regarding what I bring to the table that will inspire confidence and ensure that Kenyans enjoy that right to elect their leaders in a free, fair, verifiable and credible elections. I think, Honorable Chair and members, these are questions that even I, since I was nominated as chair, have been asked by fellow citizens outside there. In fact, last night I was at a barber shop and the barber asked me, Chair, do you think we will ever have free and fair elections in Africa? Not Kenya alone. But I knew, of course, where it was going. So to answer your question, Honorable Chair and members, I think I took this role knowing very well that there's a lot that is expected from us. There's a lot of issues that Kenyans are worried about. The issues, of course, of guaranteeing them free and fair election as per the Constitution. The issues of credibility, the issues of trust. And for me, I think if we address the issue of elections, we must, as Kenyans, begin by trusting in ourselves, because trust begins with us. When we trust ourselves, then we begin to look at what are the legal frameworks that are there to help us, for example, navigate through issues of governance in this country. That is when we begin to look at the Constitution and trust it. Does our Constitution serve us? Does it work? What does it say? The institutions that have been created by that Constitution to manage our elections, including our electoral management body, the IEBC, and others that are supposed to support that electoral management process. Do we trust in those institutions? Do we trust in the people that have been given the responsibility and the public trust to manage those institutions? Do we trust the laws that have been passed by this honorable house, by our parliament, and the regulations that govern the electoral processes? So when, honorable chair and members, when we as Kenyans begin to ask those questions, I think we'll be heading in the right direction, such that then those of us who are lucky, those of us who have come out courageously, and it must be really courageous, because when I applied for this job, I was told this is the hot seat, I don't even go there, we don't know whether to congratulate you or to, you know, all sorts of things. So those of us who have come out who have stepped out to provide leadership in our electoral management body and processes, we begin then to tell Kenyans, we will play our role as IEBC, I will play my role as chairperson, in the sense that I will be guided by the Constitution of Kenya and the laws of Kenya, and that through that fidelity to the law, I should be able to follow all the laid down processes that will lead us to credible, free, fair, verifiable elections. So my point is, Honorable Chair, is that